I was very enamored with just the toughness and the grit that Emory Williams showed, and he made some big throws against Florida State. But I don't want to get ahead of myself in anointing the next starting quarterback. I got to pump the brakes a little bit, right? Because on the one hand, I don't know for sure if Emory is the guy moving forward. I also don't think it's fair that some of you are saying he can never be the guy just because he went 8 for 23 on Saturday. Okay. Let's keep in mind this kid got his 2 starts of the season. They both happen to come against the 2 toughest defenses on the schedule, and one of them being the toughest game on the schedule, period. You realize that, right? You want to judge a true freshman quarterback who shouldn't really be playing this year on how he played against the 2 teams that had better defenses than any of the opponents Tyler Van Dyke started against, for example. In Emory's case, I respect the fact that he threw just 1 interception combined in those 2 games, okay? So what I'm saying is I'm not ready to anoint him as the next starting quarterback, but those of you who think that it's impossible he ever gets there, that's just as ridiculous as anointing the guy right now. You realize that because there is a valid question to be asked here. With the Miami Hurricanes expected to have a roster next season that could be top 2 caliber in talent in the ACC, right? Because there are question marks at other programs like Florida State. Florida State, for example, is so loaded with upperclassmen. I don't know what their roster is going to look like next year, but a lot of the players that are on FSU right now won't be there next year. So they're going to have to do that portal thing. Maybe they'll build a juggernaut of a team again. Maybe they won't. But Miami is poised to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams at the very least in the ACC next year, okay? So do you want to put all of your eggs in the basket of what's going to be a true sophomore quarterback with minimal experience? There is a feeling around this program that Miami is an elite quarterback away from being a contender. And didn't it feel that way on Saturday? Miami won most of the battles in the trenches. They won a lot of the physical battles against Florida State, but the game, it was limited by a young quarterback and a buttoned up game plan. When you look at the way, Miami, and I make no excuses for the loss, that's not what I'm doing here. But if you look at the way Miami competed with Florida State, basically everywhere outside of the passing game, I think it's fair to say that if you had 2020 De'Aaron King at quarterback, Miami wins that game. Or to put it more simply, if Miami and FSU swapped quarterbacks for the game, Miami wins the game with Jordan Travis under center. Okay. So it's my feeling, and it's an informed, educated opinion, that the Miami Hurricanes are going to be very aggressive this coming offseason in trying to add an experienced starting caliber quarterback in the transfer portal. I know a lot of us look back on last year and say they really should have done that a year ago, okay? But instead, they decided to build around Tyler Van Dyke for this year, and, things didn't work out the way any of us thought that it could or would, okay? So I think this is the year Miami wants to go all in. My feeling is they try to shoot their shot when it comes to a quarterback, okay? I know a lot of people throw around Pratt from Tulane who wants to transfer. I was told by someone who's given me good information that they actually want to shoot a shot that is significantly even bigger than bringing in Pratt from Tulane, so that they really want to go for a big move here. Now, if Miami does do something like that, doesn't mean they don't like Emory Williams. Doesn't mean I don't like Emory Williams, but I think you need to have a dominant veteran presence in that room because, again, Miami Hurricanes have some issues, but overall, you go through that 85-man roster, that's one of the better rosters in the country. One of the things that's held Miami back this year is quarterback play. And yeah, you're going to lose some guys this year to the NFL. You never know who you might lose in the transfer portal these days, but Miami, you think about all these true freshmen who are getting playing time this year, and even the ones who aren't are going to be a year more experienced next year. That class of 2023, I think, is going to be one of the turning points for this program. Hopefully the class of 2024 can do that same sort of thing. This team is going to be really, really, really good next year, but the big question mark is going to be who's your starting quarterback and how far can that starting quarterback take you? So for that reason, I do think Miami, for as much as we all like Emory Williams, and maybe he is the guy. And keep in mind, even if they go and get somebody maybe with 1 year of eligibility next year, doesn't mean Emory can't be the guy, 2 years, 3 years down the road if he's not the guy this coming season. So nothing against him, but when you've got a team that looks almost ready, on the cusp of competing, who the starting quarterback is and how far that person can take you is a big factor in all this, my friends.